Hi everyone, and welcome back to the YouTube channel. Today, Guy is out working in the barn. This has been just a hit and miss this week project for him. We've got some old barn beams. This is the old pig pens, and this is the straw loft up above us. A lot of people call them a hay mow or whatever, but it's just basically a balcony that was added after the fact here in the long hip roof barn. Well, what we've got going on is many years of animals being in here and boards that needed to be sistered up over time. Well, with the manure, the bottoms of the posts become rotted, and then after a while, nothing is there. Now, the straw isn't as heavy as the hay, and we don't have as much of it, which is why we do it on this side. So let me turn the camera around and show you what we've done over previous repairs. So with the cost and forever rising expense of buying lumber and gates, we've always saved anything we've always done. These gates here, this was originally 3 separate pens. Basically, you can see right here where the posts are, where each section was. And we'll reuse those either here or somewhere else, but we save everything. So like this piece is probably pretty well gone. Maybe somebody wants it for their Etsy shop. That old barn wood, you know, it shows up. So right here, we had cracks in the joist. He sistered these up with 2x6s a long time ago and helped shore up this corner. And we found out the entire balcony was built not level as he started working. So we originally had this post. What size is this post or beam?
These are all 5x8, so it worked out pretty good because his upper beam is about 8. It's not, the lumber isn't just out of a sawmill. It's not really anything when you measure it. These are about 8. These are about 8 by 2 roughly, so that'll work out good.
And like he said, they're from a sawmill. All of this is old rough sawn lumber. Dimensions are off, but it's a lot of hardwood, and there's a lot of strength in that. So that's what we're using. So show me what you've done so far.
I got the first one knocked out, and it's kind of difficult. You kind of have to peel them apart from each other. He had 4 coming down like this, but the second one he put up to here.
Yeah,
so when he was building it, whoever built, this is a 45-degree angle that goes over to the wall. Same idea. So I had to peel these off with a crowbar, get to the last one, and then sawzall it off. And here's, you can see where I had the balcony supported with that board and bottle jack like I do down there. So I had it all up, and then I'm able to salvage up above where they hadn't rotted it. So we end up with some pieces here that are fine, that are up high, and we'll get more from down there too. But I had to pull all these huge nails out and cut them off, but we'll get some use out of them.
Those are real solid wood.
Yeah, that's what the whole barn is, and I really don't know where the wood came from, because this barn, if you show up in the hayloft, the design of this barn, the good and the bad of it, is identical to the one that was across the road that they tore down. For instance, down at the end of your rafters, they didn't understand yet to lay your boards like this. This, I'm very sure this was put in later, and I'll show you why. But the barn's been remodeled a bit. This used to have a double drive floor, which is very odd, but it's a big barn. There was another drive floor that way, and then when it doesn't have hay in it, you can see how they framed in the front and the back of it differently. But so I don't know where this wood came from. It was maybe sawn up here, but the barn across the road was built by the same builder, and the 2 farms were never owned by the same family. So I don't know. Nobody's around anymore to tell me, so I don't know. But that one's gone, and this one's still good. But if you look right here, this is why I think maybe this loft was added a little later or changed. The heights between the two are different. This one this one is like 8 feet, and that one over there is about 10 feet high. They're where the other drive floor was next door.
Yeah.
That all matches the whole barn. So if you look over here, this curb, it is cracked and it broke a little bit, but it didn't settle that much. I literally think they ran a little low on concrete. This should have been way up. Well, so what they did, when they built the balcony, they measured 78 inches up from everything, and he did it the exact same here. So because this curb falls, if you go back there and look, the whole balcony follows. So we were just going to jack it up. For a minute, we're like, oh, we'll jack it up and make it level, and then fix this. But it's not that easy because they hooked the whole floor that level all the way across. They just followed. They didn't. It was kind of a by eye type deal in measurements. They didn't have a level or something, so they never caught it. So the balcony follows the curb, not level, but we have to leave it without completely redoing everything. So it's not worth it because it's strong. It's just
right.
So we're gonna put a 10-foot gate here. This is where their non-working hydrant was, and it was in the way. The house that fed that water and that well doesn't even exist, so I pulled it out. We're gonna cement it in, take the broken, settled, whatever it was, curb out, and make a nice ramp out of cement that slowly transitions from this lower floor up to there. So this is where we'll come in and out to clean it out, and this gate will swing over, catch the corner of a trailer, and I'll just come up this ramp in the trailer or out. So that'll be part of this project too, but that wall was just hanging when we bought the barn, and we used it that way, but there was nothing in here but hay, so we thought, well.
And we've had cows in here, and we've had pigs in here, and this drops down, what would you say, 1.5 foot? So, and it's, higher down there, which makes it miserable for cleaning out manure, but I did it. We had them packed in here, and it was a good temporary shelter, but once you start putting animals in here, they start breaking the siding on the barn. We had our bull in here, and we've got some boards on the siding to fix that way. So we'll get it all sistered up and replace these beams, but this is what he's done so far on this one. He made his own brackets here. So you use the hammer drill and put anchors into the concrete?
Those are 3/4 inch, whatever you call them. Wedge anchors right here, it says. So these are probably overkill, but these are leftovers from other projects, so I'm using them. So that's a 3/4. 1/2 inch, I'm sure it'll be fine for this. I just don't want them to, how they do, knock this off. So that was the only way I could think of to attach it to the curb. And this is a 7-inch by 5/8 bolt that I had to cut off because it ran into that. So that goes through. Same deal up here, and then I've got maybe those are 1/2 inch lags. I put those up in so nobody can lean up and scratch against this or anything and move it.
Yeah.
So I'll do the same thing there. And they had this all, here's one of the walls. They had this kind of airtight for cattle. I think these were pig pens decades ago. But I want to do gates instead of a board wall for airflow, because it's just about keeping the rain off their back and the wind and all that. You want good air. This is a good barn for cattle. It doesn't have the little strips over the siding. It's not airtight. It's not good for hay because the hay fades, but it's really good for cattle. You can see that piece of plastic blowing right now. It's very healthy air.
Yeah, I've had these wrapped up in that black plastic wrap that you get at the hardware store for a couple of years, and over this last, end of the year, it probably lasted for about 3 years. That's pretty good for constant sun, but it keeps the hay pretty dry. This is, 2-year-old hay?
It's in nice shape.
So you can just see where you get a little bit of moisture from the concrete on the bottom, so sander pallets is good for that, but we just feed those to the cows and they don't care.
So this will be better.
So how many more beams are you going to put in?
One here, where this one, this is the remnants of the 4 pieces. See how it's tucked up in there? So I have to cut that with a Sawzall, and then do the same thing I did there. And then if I choose to use all gates, I found 3 used 10-foot gates. We bought a whole pile from a guy for next to nothing, and now they're all a lot of money. So I can either choose to put. I have to have 1 gate, of course, at the end to get them in and out and us. So I'm either going to use 3 of those gates because I have 3, and they're just right for this barn, 3 10s. Plus, by the time you get your hinges, it's a 32-foot barn. By the time you get your hinges in and all that, the 3 10s will make the 30-some feet because of your beams and latches and everything. Or I can frame it in with lumber and use cattle panels. We have like 8 of those left from a bundle that we bought, and I haven't even made up my mind because it doesn't matter until I get this beam in. Then in 5 minutes time I can decide if I'm going to do all gates or cattle panels for 22 feet and then the 10-foot gate, whatever.
Here's some of the panels that he got right here.
That's not what I'm talking about. Those are actual gates.
Are they any taller? Or?
Maybe, but with this, I figured these are for pigs, these 3, and those are for pigs. But when you have that tall curb, and then if you leave it this far off the bottom, they would end up being like a normal 4-foot gate because this is dropped. So I may do that. Normally they'd be a little short, but a regular 4-foot gate is way too tall. Yeah. So we don't know.
Now, you called around about new gates.
10-foot gate is the galvanized, the heavier stuff, not like you get at the store. Those are $250 a piece now. So I thought, do we want to use up all our gates, which are now valuable, or do the cattle? That's why I haven't decided yet.
Okay.
We'll see.
All right, so I will show you a little bit later his progress on this, and like he said, he's gonna cut this out or sledgehammer it out. We have never had animals that really like to go up and down. I don't know if they're just scared of falling and the depth perception, but it's darker in here, you know, limited sunlight. And since it's cracked, I said, well, why don't we just take it out and make a ramp here for them to go in and out easier? I think it's a good idea.
Well, plus that floor was missing.
Yeah.
They kind of overkilled it on taking the cement out to get the hydrant in at whatever point. Obviously, the hole is made to get the guy down in there, but that's huge. So
yeah, the hydrant went right up against the wall. So
yeah, it made it so you couldn't have a gate. The hydrant was right here; it was in the way, so that was all boarded in. Then they had a horrible old electrical panel or panels here. I took all that out. Nobody would have used that again. It was really bad. So cleaned all that out. This was all a mess over here. So this will be better.
All right. So this is what it looks like from here. And like I said, we've just been using it for hay and straw storage. Using the dry floor for the tractors in the off season. Tractor repairs. All right, how's it going?
Good. I got the first gate on.
Look at that.
I had to steal one of these off the top of another one because it was rotted out. And that's on there. That's level. So that's all set. I'll take it back off and straighten it. Somebody did something to it at one point. This is the first time we've ever used these. We bought them used. So I'll get that straightened. And then I've got this post is cut to length, and I got the 2 bottom brackets made and kind of on there. This isn't probably even quite where it's going. I just wanted to check my height. So that's in. And then down here, the 4 header pieces that he made that beam out of on both sides of the barn, well, whoever built it, they had 3 and 4 wide up here and then 3. So I took a piece of extra and put a 4th one tight up against here.
Oh,
and
nothing was holding the inside.
No, just the nails of the board. So, which, you know, it made it, but as long as I'm here working, and so this is left over from the rotten posts up towards the top. And I tried construction screws. I tried the old original nails that I pulled out that are way better than you can buy now, and nothing would do anything. So what I had to do was take 1/2-inch lags, and because I'm going through this board into this, I actually had to drill this a 1/2 inch through here, and then take a small drill to start the lag. The lags didn't even want to go in these, so I took then a smaller drill and went into here, so that when the threads are pulling into this, it's spinning through this board and it will suck it in. Differently than, of course, like these brackets where I'm putting a bracket up and going into one board. You just do the starter one and it's all tight. So these are super hard. They're so hard when you start to drill them. Like here, you're having to drill on an angle. The drill will slide like it's steel.
Oh.
I don't know what kind of wood it is, and it's old and dried. But anyway, so these are super tough. They're in there. He did the same thing on the other side. So I did the same thing down there. The only difference was these were like a 6-inch board, and all I had to use for free was the 8-inchers that came out of the post. So you can see I had to, whatever this is called, that goes horizontal to nail the siding to, I had to notch it.
Okay.
Because I didn't have the...
Oh, I see.
So lots of steps. I mean, you're working forever. Skill saw, sawzall, multiple drills, ratchets, just to get a little piece of board in. But
he's doing a ton of physical labor, so he's having to.
The tools are all here already, so I thought, well, and I'm not spending any money. All the lag screws that I found are used, pulled out of other things, so that's all right. Not spending a lot.
Yep.
So that one's in. The 4th one is in down there.
So you gotta set this one like a little plumb or something.
That's just sitting there. It's not level, nothing. For all I know, it could go over here.
Oh, I see. So, you don't even have it.
I was just checking my height. So now what I have to do is find a 1x8 board. This board wall comes out further than the boards.
Yeah.
And I want all my gates to swing like this out into the dry floor. It would be really easy just to mount the gate to the wood and come out, but so I'm gonna get this flush with all the way is 1 inch off.
What's going on right here? Another crack?
Just in the curb. Something. So I'm gonna put a 1x8 here, get it out, and then put one of those big 3/4 anchors right in that cord wall, and then hook a board here. And then after that, I can build it up as much as I need with a couple boards.
Yep.
To screw the thing for the gates, pivot point, whatever they are. But you could probably buy something like the little things you sink in the concrete and then screw the thing in. You probably can buy them, but we already have salvaged enough of those hangers that I'll just switch to wood. That's the only way I can do it that I know how to get I want the gates to all swing out.
Yeah, because otherwise they can't.
If you try, because this is going to be 3 pens just like he had it, except I don't want to do it with it walled up. I want the airflow.
Right.
So this part of the barn is 12 foot. We have 3 of these we got for nothing. And so I'll take these 2 that are already up here and put them in here and go over to there, and then we'll have 3 pens. You could have 3 cows and 3 calves in here separate and have them be left alone. Okay. So if you mounted the gate like this and swung it out, that'd be a mess. Trying to make them go around the corner of the barn and then get out and do a trailer or something, or even to go out in the pasture.
Well, what if... I'll ask you that later. Okay.
So, It's slow work, but it's no big spending. Follow. Will you get me the level? See how well we can get this untwisted with screws. Twisted, warped, and free.
Start leveling things, you're going to throw it all off.
I'm just trying to get it. Yeah, if I follow that board, that's going to be good enough.
So that's filling in the gap so that you've got an upper spot for your gate.
So that the
no
board,
space.
Huh?
No space.
No, because I need this level, and then with anchors into the concrete. So I need to fill this in, then I'll build this up so I can screw those big anchors in there into this piece of wood, and that will actually.
See, there's a 2-inch gap ledge right there all the way around.
That's 2 inch, but then the boards came out so that it only made it 1 inch. So 1 inch from here is perfectly. This comes in just like an 1/8 of an inch or quarter. It's on an angle.
Yeah.
But down here, it's perfectly level now with this board.
Okay.
So
free.
haven't spent one penny so far. Well,
getting some gates hung. We're looking for a 1 1/4 inch gate hinge strap that goes on the gate. He had a bad one. They're a lot smaller on these older gates, and everything standard is 1 5/8. So if you know where to get them, well, I'll probably have them found, but let me know, because I'm not finding them. I'm finding 2 inch and 1 5/8. Looking for 1 1/4. But his divider gates are coming along. Good job. So this job is complete. We're just slowly moving the cattle in here that we want to get cleaned up and send them off to the butcher or the auction and keep them dry.